We've got some Wacademia for you. What have we got here? This is pretty ghastly, to be honest. It's in Holland. It's a Dutch TV show, and I know it's Easter morning, but we have to show you this because this is what's going on in the world. Some children on a TV show forced to watch transgender individuals naked.
What?
Have a look.
Welkom bij Gewoon Bloot. In Gewoon Bloot gaan volwassen mensen geheel uit de kleren, zodat wij er wat van kunnen leren. Deze kinderen uit groep 7 en 8 mogen aan hen alles vragen over hun blote lichaam. En vandaag hebben we als gasten transgenders. Het gaat echt om het gevoel wat je van binnen hebt.
Ja, en dat...
Nadat je een operatie hebt gehad. Anne-Chris, hoe voelde dat?
Ken je het woord euforisch?
Nee.
Oké, dat is echt heel blij. Echt heel...
Okay, I'm gonna just let y'all sit right there with that. I'm gonna let that sit with you all. I'm not gonna say a word about that clip I just played. Now, the folk who got an issue with my doing videos about these people, you got an issue with that. You folk who got an issue with that, you may have what's called a problem that no one can help you with. And do I want you to leave and go watch something else? No. I want you to sit right here. Bless my Cash App, perhaps. Right, maybe that might help you feel better about being here on my teensy weensy channel. And it's their turn. Like it's been everybody else's turn. Where a group of people here hasn't had their turn receiving the public attention. Aren't they loud? Aren't they boisterous? Right, sure they are. So why shouldn't they be getting the attention that they're looking for?
I'd like to tell you what's happening in New Zealand. The country's Supreme Court has ruled that not allowing people over the age of 16 to vote is discriminatory. So now Parliament will have to debate lowering the voting age. New Zealand's Bill of Rights ensures that people above 16 are not discriminated against. They can work, drive and pay taxes. So for all intent and purposes, they are adults, except when it comes to voting. But now Parliament will have to debate this. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern made an announcement on Monday. Listen in.
On that basis, Cabinet has resolved to draft a piece of legislation with a proposal to lower the age of voting for 16 for the whole of Parliament to consider. If supported, it would not take effect for the next general election.
That was New Zealand, but it's going on in other countries as well, including here in the United States. And some may agree with that, right? I mean, you working, you got to pay taxes at 16, so why shouldn't you be able to vote? I have heard some reasonable arguments for it, but I don't agree with it. But I have heard some reasonable arguments. And I probably still disagree with it because I remember me and my buddies at 16, and the answer is hell no. Where our heads was at 16, the answer is no. But reasonable argument or not, something is up. Something is up. And yeah, I'm about to do some crazy conspiracy theories.
The Youth Law Centre is a free and confidential legal service for any young person in the ACT aged 12 to 25 years. The Youth Law Centre can provide young people with legal advice, assistance and representation. Often, legal advice can help you to better understand your situation and figure out which steps you should take to resolve your legal problem. The Youth Law Centre can also give you legal information. If you have any questions about the law and how that affects you, don't hesitate to contact the Youth Law Centre. In this video, we are going to break down some recent changes to the law in the ACT. These changes allow young people to apply to change the name or sex recorded on their birth certificate to better reflect their gender identity. Who can apply to change their name, sex, or both under the new laws? You can apply to change your name or sex or both on your birth certificate if you are 16 or 17 years old and you were born in the ACT or you were born in another Australian state or territory or overseas and have lived in the ACT for more than 3 months. If you are under 16 years of age, you may still be able to change your name or sex or both on your birth certificate to better reflect your gender identity. However, there are some extra steps involved in this process.
Something's up. That was Australia, but this happened in here too in the United States and in other places. Admission to adult the kids. Never mind that they said 16. Never mind that. Because 16 will be where they start at, but they'll keep pushing for lower. The next clip I'm going to play, I thought about doing this myself, but then I figured that the lady Susan Swift could do a better job at explaining it than I can. Why are so many LGBT people so super pro-abortion?
So that nothing changed in California when Roe versus Wade was overturned, because our state California the Supreme Court of California had already declared abortion to be a fundamental right multiple times. But you see, Proposition 1 was sold on the fear and the hysteria that, well, we have to protect this right in our Constitution. So Proposition 1 has now, it's going to into effect January 1st. Here's how it's going to amend our Constitution in California. It says the state shall not deny or interfere with an individual's reproductive freedom in their most individual decisions, including abortion and use of contraception, and it goes on and on. All right, so you have to kind of look, in law, words mean things, and a word doesn't have no meaning. Every word has a meaning. Well, the word individual in California is already defined. It's already known. It means a person without respect to age or competency or anything else. So an individual can refer to a 13-year-old girl, 10-year-old boy, right? That it's not qualified by age. So an individual's reproductive freedom, what does that mean? Nobody knows, because it's not defined. It's not defined in law, and it is not defined in California statute, nor is it defined in the statute itself. All right. And it's a Marxist term. It sounds wonderful, doesn't it? I want reproductive freedom. I want to be able to have as many kids as I want to have without state interference, right? The state shall not deny or interfere with one's, reproductive freedom. That sounds really good. But we don't know what reproductive freedom will mean. And what we've done now is, by inserting this language into our Constitution, the Constitution of California overrides statutes. So that if a judge is presented with a case, he has to consult the statute and compare it to the constitutional amendment and say, well, and we always assume that the people voted for an amendment and they knew what the statute said. That is an assumption that all judges must make under the law. Okay, so we already have a lot of statutes that protect children against incest, or married couples against polygamy. We restrict that. We also have laws about rape. We also have all kinds of laws that would protect children from being groomed and by pedophiles, right? So how are those laws, the statutes, right? How are they going to be interpreted vis-a-vis Proposition 1 and a fundamental right of reproductive freedom? If a pedophile, which is also known as a minor attracted person, because we're going to call them something nice that doesn't sound so creepy, weird. But so Uncle Joe, who's 40, he really enjoys, improper relationships with 13-year-old boys. Let's put it that way. Okay. Right. Why can't he enjoy this individual reproductive freedom? If he's a pedophile and that's his enjoyment, well, then who's going to decide that? And you see the child, the individual, right, can consent to that, I guess, apparently under California, under Proposition 1.
That's not just in California. And like with them trying to lower the age for this and trying to lower the age for that, they want to be able to legally bed with children. And it's going to be against the law for me and you to express that we have a problem with that.
All right. Well, the United Nations says that we should decriminalize all sex and drug-related activity in the name of human rights. This includes sex with minors, and they want you to be able to poop on the street. Is that what we consider progress for human rights? What about your right not to live in a place where we traffic minors and poop on the streets?
Can I move to that place?
It is not your right, apparently, for dog poop. So let's go through what the United Nations is saying about these human rights. And, you know, what they're trying to say is that if you criminalize things like sex and drugs, it's racist and it's against human rights. It violates people's human rights. You know, okay, that's a nice thought that we don't want to criminalize people for things that maybe shouldn't be criminalized, but we're going so far in the other direction now that there is no longer a consensual age, an age of consent for minors is what they're saying. So, you know, whatever, 4-year-old, do it. And there is no way to criminalize. I don't know if there's another word for this. I didn't go too far down looking it up, but do we still call them pimps?
I shared that on my community board yesterday, and I asked people to at least listen to the first 9 minutes of it. The clip about the United Nations that came from a channel called Redacted. And at the 4-minute, 15-second mark of that video, she went on to read a United Nations document called Principle 16. And she went into the wording in that document and how its wording about consenting to sex could mean anybody, including age. The same vague wording that Susan Swift was talking about months ago. And here it is months later at the United Nations too. And I want people to go over there to the Redacted channel and at least listen to the first 9 minutes of it. That's the least you could do. And you know, I keep saying gay, gay, gay. But I don't want nobody to think that I don't know that there are heterosexuals salivating at the idea of this stuff becoming legal. Don't think I don't know that. But this is one of the reasons that they're trying to do away with the reality of gender. If you can do away with gender, you can do away with this, and you can do away with that. You can even do away with the idea of age. Race is a social construct, they're saying too.
How are things in your life now?
Well, I have a mommy and daddy, adopted mommy and daddy, who are totally comfortable with me being a little girl, and their children and their grandchildren are totally supportive. In fact, her youngest granddaughter, when I was 8, a year ago I was 8, and she was 7, and she said to me, I want you to be the little sister, so I'll be 9. I said, well, I don't mind going to 6, so I've been 6 ever since. But we have a great time, and we color, we do kid stuff. It's called play therapy. No medication, no suicide thoughts, and I just get to play.